Okay, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a problem that, let's be honest, pretty much all of us have: our phones. They're amazing, indispensable tools, right? But they're also designed from the ground up to completely hijack our attention. So today, we're diving into a really radical solution from our source material, a way to actually engineer your own focus by building something called a digital fortress. So let me just ask you straight up. Have you ever tried to use sheer willpower to beat your phone addiction? You make that big declaration. That's it, I'm not looking at social media for a whole week. So, how'd that go? Yeah, for most of us, it's a spectacular failure. And it really makes you wonder, is willpower even the right tool for this fight?
And this is really the core of the problem, isn't it? We can't just toss our phones in a drawer and forget about them. I mean, we need them for everything: maps, banking, work emails, you name it. But at the same time, these super essential tools are also like Trojan horses, smuggling in this endless stream of dopamine-fueled distraction right into our pockets.
Which brings us to this first huge idea from the source material. It's called the willpower trap, and it's the perfect explanation for why just trying harder is doomed to fail. It's why going toe-to-toe with temptation every single minute of every day is just, well, it's a battle you're probably going to lose. And honestly, this quote from this source just absolutely nails it. I mean, think about it for a second. Your willpower might feel like a superpower in the morning, right? But what happens at 9 o'clock at night when you're exhausted, you're stressed out, maybe a little bored? It's gone. It just evaporates. So relying on that flimsy, fluctuating resource to fight a device engineered by armies of PhDs to capture your attention, that's not a fair fight. It's like trying to stop a tsunami with a beach pail.
Okay, so if willpower is a trap, then what's the way out? Well, this is where things get really interesting and, honestly, a little weird. We're going to talk about a concept called your inner parent guardian. It's a truly radical idea for clawing back your self-control.
So what on earth is a digital fortress? Well, basically, it's a system you build for yourself, using something like Google's Family Link, where you kind of split yourself in two. You play both parts. You're the parent who lays down the strict, unbreakable rules, and you're also the child who has no choice but to follow them. It's this really fascinating act of personal, behavioral engineering.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Why not just get a dumb phone? And look, it's a totally fair question. But the thing is, for most people, that's just not practical. A dumb phone is too dumb. No maps, no banking apps, none of that stuff we actually need. The Fortress, though, that's different. It lets you keep all the essential tools while surgically removing only the junk. It's the best of both worlds. Smart, but totally under your control.
All right, so how does this thing actually work? I mean, how do you build walls so high that even your most desperate, bored self can't climb over them? This is where we get into the real nuts and bolts of it, the engineering behind the time lock.
So, the setup begins with something that sounds completely bonkers. First, you create a brand new, separate Google account. This is going to be your parent account. Then, you give it a super random, long password that you absolutely do not memorize. And here's the kicker. You don't attach any recovery phone number or email to it. None. Suddenly, this account becomes an untouchable digital vault, and it holds all the keys to locking down your phone.
But, and this is the really clever part, you're not just throwing away the key and hoping for the best. That'd be crazy, right? No, the key isn't gone forever. It's time-locked. You can get access, but only on a strict schedule that the system sets, not you. And just look at this. This is a direct quote from the comments in the Python script that runs the whole show. I love how cold and logical it is. Decrypt allowed only if. There's no emotion, no room for negotiation. Access is determined by pure, simple, unfeeling math and time. That's it.
So, what does this look like in practice? Let's walk through the cycle. Imagine a preset slot day arrives. Let's say it's the 10th of the month. An automated script fires up, decrypts the password, and poof, you have access. This gives you a small, planned window to make changes, like installing a new work app or something. But then, once you're done, the script automatically snatches that password back, re-encrypts it for the next slot day, and bam, the fortress walls are right back up. You're locked out again.
Okay, so that's the mechanics of it. But the psychology of why this works is, in my opinion, even more fascinating. This is where the real magic happens. It's all about building something that is literally stronger than your own temptation.
And here's a really important distinction. The goal here isn't to create a system that's technically impossible to crack. Of course not. If you were really determined, you could probably find a way around it. The goal is way smarter. It's to make breaking the rules so much more annoying and inconvenient than just following them. It's all about adding friction.
And this chart just lays it all out, plain and simple. On one side, you've got willpower. It's flaky, it depends on your mood, and it's basically a constant, exhausting argument you have with yourself. But on the other side, you have the system. It's totally predictable, it's external, it's automated. The reason you don't even try to break it is because you know deep down it's just going to be a massive pain in the neck.
So here's what it all boils down to. You're taking that messy, emotional, totally unreliable thing called willpower, and you're offloading it. You're handing it over to an automated system that has zero emotions. You can't reason with it, you can't beg, it doesn't care that you had a bad day and just need a break. It follows one thing, the clock.
So, after all this work, what's the payoff? What does life actually look like inside this digital fortress you've built for yourself? Well, the transformation is pretty incredible. Your phone stops being a toy, and it turns back into a tool.
And don't just take my word for it. Here's the proof. This is a screenshot from the source showing actual usage after the system was put in place. Just look at these numbers. The top apps are for things like files and tasks. And the total screen time? We're talking minutes a day, not hours. This is what a tool looks like.
I love how the source material describes this. Your phone literally transforms from a dopamine roller coaster that just yanks your brain around all day into a simple, quiet, effective tool. You get all the good stuff, the utility, with none of the bad stuff, none of the addiction. For once, you are in control of the device, not the other way around.
And all of this leaves us with a really powerful final thought. We're always told that freedom is about having endless choice, unlimited options. But when you see a system like this in action, it forces you to ask a pretty radical question. What if true digital freedom isn't about having no limits? What if it's about having the wisdom and the courage to choose your own?